Our physical health and our emotional health are very key in shaping our lives. So most of the times we pay more attention to our physical health, and in the emotional health we don't really pay that much. With like, because when you get sick you go to the doctors, or when you get a headache you go and finally get medicine, or when you get malaria you attend to it. Then most times when some people get emotionally hurt, that's like they've been through some painful experience, they deal with it on their own most of the times. Personally I have, but there are options of maybe see a counselor, I have tried, and there are options maybe say of going to see a psychiatrist. But in reality, like, get hurt differently, like in the conversations we have. I'm going to talk about the daily way we get hurt, like mostly like since in shaping our life we interact with people. That's very true because we are relational beings. And if you say you meet a workmate, he says something that completely like you don't agree with, that does not make you enemies, but at that point let me say the way they say it gets you hurt, right? Or let me say you were at a police station, like one of my incidents when I was at a police station and these guards want to exert authority, like from even the gate men, and I'm like, wow, people really have big egos. I want to talk about something like in conversation. There's your ego and there's a soul. Yeah, so there's an ego. It's what gets hurt when you fail. Like sometimes when you fail, it's your ego that gets hurt. We all have one, or some people even have two. I can't say that. Yeah, so the ego is a very fundamental thing in building your self-worth. So even as we pursue shaping our lives, or like knowing ourselves more, or living for ourselves, we have to know that actually I have an ego, I have a soul, I have this and this. So when I'm hurt, like in a conversation or in something, I ought to realize what's really hurt. Is it my ego or is it my soul? Like I have that conversation with myself most of the times. I'm like, okay, what's really hurt? Is it my heart or the ego? And the ego defines your preferences most of the times. What do you prefer? I like to do this, I don't do that. Like the ego also helps you proclaim your individuality. Like we all have different personality. There's one who speak out, there's one who will not. It's all there. The other thing is that it helps us define our desires. Things that Belinda would pursue that we say Jesse won't pursue anyone else. But the other thing is that the ego is a very great servant, but a very unpleasant master. So your ego has to be in check. Like you have to be like, what's talking right now? Is it my ego or is it my heart self? So the ego, all it wants is reward. We all want it to be like praised. We all want to be respected. We all want to be like, there are different forms of reward. But since we can't get reward all the time, since we can't be praised all the time, then that means that the ego is never satisfied. That's when you remember that you are made up of more than an ego. You have a soul. That is a key thing to realize, that in a situation where like, okay, he said this, it hurt me, or she said this, it hurt me, but what really got hurt? Was it my soul or my ego? So because we all want to be praised. If someone tells me I'm not happy with you, this and this, in that moment you'll be like, what's hurt in that moment? Because you've done something bad, it's your ego, it's what's hurting. Honestly, like I've had times like that. I'm like, oh. But when you realize that you're more than an ego, like there's something that is bigger than your ego, then yeah, you start to look at situations differently. Okay, here, say that. Then that means you step into other people's shoes to get to know what's really the matter. But if your ego, you're up there, you don't want to know what's down here. So the whole thing today in shaping our lives, our emotional health is very key. And even we hold daily conversations with people. We have different relationships because we are relational beings. So we ought to know like what's in those tough moments, awkward moments, when we are hurting about something small or we're hurting about something big, what's really hard and what really can. Soul is it doesn't want reward. It's not guided by praises and rewards. Your soul is more of a more defining things. Like your heart, all it wants is wonder and creativity, and it wants simple beautiful things, quiet or peace, unity. That's why our souls are guided by something that is greater than us, and that is of course our different relationships. Some of us attach it to our spirituality, like, oh, it's well with my soul, my heart. everything is in the Lord's hand, everything is in God's hand, you get? Because our soul is what brings us to people's levels. Like, you would want to understand what someone is going through before you impose, or before you want to know, before you put your opinion over them. It's that understanding part of us. Our souls are beautiful. When your soul is your master, like, you look at things differently. Okay, that's how I live my life. Because of the time, I would rather have my ego being a servant at some point. Because that's what you all, like, when you have your ego as a servant, you can control it. You can be like, oh, fundamentally, my selfhood is this. Because we live with people and we love them. Because when it's a soul wounded, it's a different story. Because when people go through some heartaches, that is a different heart than the one where you're holding it in a conversation and this guy is speaking things that are against you. There, what's wounded you? Because this is real normal life. As we shape our lives, you can really see the difference. When your soul is wounded, it's a different story. And when your ego is hurt, you ought to calm down, because when you make it your master, you may say things that you're not supposed to say. So most times in conversations, the whole video is about know what's hard, know how to let go some things, because we are relationship people and we live with people. Yes, we are shaping our lives, we're deciding what we want, but in your life, know that your emotional health is very key, and there are things that disturb it daily in conversations, in what. Then know that your physical health, of course, that one is very key. And yeah, so shape your life. I hope you have enjoyed and learned something. Please do subscribe if you have not yet, and share the video with others who you know can use such a message. So thank you so much. Simply Life and Truth, signing out.